So when we last left off, the Mandalorian got away with the child, but of course, trouble is going to be close behind. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Crossin Streams. As always, I am your host, the real Geno Reynolds, and today we're going to be continuing our look at the Mandalorian as we take a look at Chapter 4, Sanctuary. We begin the episode by seeing a tribe who you could only describe as shrimpers. I can't remember what the little shrimp things they were capturing were called. Their tribe is invaded by another tribe, and then we see the Mandalorian, who is trying to hide out for a few months, land on this planet. So, of course, you know they're going to interact a little bit. But the first thing that they do is the Mandalorian takes the child to try to find food. At this establishment, the Mandalorian notices what could be a bounty hunter sitting at another table. But when he starts to inquire about this person, they disappear. He goes to investigate, and shortly after, we are introduced to Gina Carano's character, Cara Dune. And shortly they find out that no, they are not bounty hunters after each other, so they kind of become fast friends. That being said, Cara Dune tells the Mandalorian that we both can't hide out here, so you have to leave. I was here first. And the Mandalorian does agree. Before the Mandalorian's about to leave, two people from the tribe that got attacked come to him and ask if they can hire him. At first, he's dismissive about it, but then he eventually agrees that they can give him a place to stay, him and the baby. So he does take the job. That being said, he does not take the little bit of money that they are able to gather together. He does take that money to give to Cara Dune, who is now his partner, at least for the time being. This leads them to learning something about this other tribe, which maybe they shouldn't have took the job, and they realize that they are going to have to help this tribe to ward off the other tribe, and they're going to have to take down a pair of pretty big guns to do so. This episode, like the other episodes, and this isn't really a complaint because I am really enjoying this series. It is predictable, though. This episode, just like the others, is very predictable. You kind of know where it's going to lead to. I wish there was some more twists in the show, like we got in the first episode when we met Baby Yoda. But really, I'm still enjoying the stories that these feel like. So it's not a big deal that it's predictable. This one, for the most part to me, I mean, it's not everything about it, but a lot of this kind of reminded me of the Western Shane, kind of where you have this gunfighter who, in another life, if he was at this place, he could settle down and be happy. But we know that for our hero, this isn't a possibility. So a lot of the episode is geared towards that, where you could see him settling down with this one of the women from the tribe and her daughter, and then the daughter loves the little baby Yoda, and they kind of want them to stay, and they kind of ask him to stay. And this woman from the tribe understands his whole thing about why he can't take off the helmet and everything. We do learn a little bit about that, by the way. I know a lot of people are complaining online that they took off the helmets and things like that in the Clone Wars and in Rebels, but we learn why, or we learn that they can't take it off, but we do see him take it off, even though we don't see his face. We learn that whether or not this is a rule, when he's in private, he can take it off, because someone asks him in this episode, when's the last time you took it off? And he said yesterday, and she goes, when's the last time you took it off and around people? And he said he pointed to some kids. He said something along the lines of, I was maybe a little younger or a little older than them. I can't remember exactly which it was. But since he's been a child, he's worn this helmet. And we actually learn what happens to them if they take off their helmet. So we learn a little bit about that. And we also learn, and this is kind of a spoiler, that the Mandalorian may not be a real Mandalorian. I don't know. The way he talks, he says the Mandalorians took me in. So is he really a Mandalorian, or did he kind of get adopted into their people? So that's pretty interesting. Um, so the fight that they have, though, they have to. Of course, they can't take on the big guns that the other tribe has. Is something that even the Mandalorian and Cara Dune can't take on alone. So of course they're gonna have to try to help teach the people to fight back. Um, it's one of those things where, and this is a trope in a lot of different things, where it's like they kind of learn to fight a little too quickly. They've got like a day or two. I don't remember how long it was between when they started training them to when the other tribe showed up. But I don't think it was that long. It wasn't long enough to be expert marksmen. They kind of don't become experts, but and of course the woman who the Mandalorian could have settled down with, we learned that she knows how to shoot, so she's got a past. I don't know if it's going to play in to the future of this series. I have a feeling that the end of this series, if they do have a definitive ending, it might be him settling down with her at the very end. I don't know if that's the case, but I guess we'll find out when this one decides to finally end. Who knows how long that'll be. But yeah, we learn again that they have to take the fight to the other tribe. Otherwise, this other tribe's going to keep coming, and they have to take out their big gun, or otherwise no one's going to survive. And we learn that Cara Dune has had a little bit of a past with this big gun, because she instantly knows what the big gun is when they see the tracks for it. So yeah, it's about them helping this village, and again, the Mandalorian could have stayed behind had it been another life, and they even tease a little bit. It ain't gonna happen, but they do tease a little bit that he's going to stay, even though he does kind of turn it down. But you could see him coming back in the future, maybe at the end of the series. Now the Mandalorian is going to make a big decision, but about the baby in this episode, but he has to change his mind because, of course, there's still going to be people coming after that child. So he has to make the right choice versus the choice that it would make the baby happy, I guess is the best way to put it. So that's how this episode goes. Again, it is another solid episode. We get to again learn a little bit about the Mandalorian way. We get to meet a new character in Cara Dune, and of course she's going to probably come back in the future and be a part of this show. I can't just see them using her for a one-off. But yeah, it's another solid episode. Again, it reminded me a lot of Shane, maybe a little bit of like an Unforgiven even, but more so Shane for me. It just reminded me. I mean, I was honestly surprised they didn't do a whole thing, come back at the end, with the kid. But the kid does kind of get upset when they have to leave. But yeah, another solid episode. Definitely keeping that Western feel, and I'm still really enjoying this series, even though I want to see a little bit more unpredictability in it. That's really the one thing I'm asking for when it comes to this show, is be a little more unpredictable, and I'm really hoping with the rest of the episodes of this season that they can bring some more of that in. That's going to be all for this edition of Crossin Streams. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Geno YouTube channel, like this video. If you have anything to say about The Mandalorian Chapter 4 Sanctuary, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I'm your host, the Real Geno, Geno Reynolds, and this is the way.